Are you joining him for the press?
Just want to hear him out.
You want to tell us what you think about last night? You want to take the podium until he gets here?
Am I invited to take the podium?
I mean, yeah.
That's a good sign. I agree with it.
What are your takeaways from last
My takeaways is there are many reasons why people win an election and lose an election. What happens in Virginia or New Jersey and New York City, they're different. But I think there was a common theme last night, and that is people all over this country are rejecting Trumpism. They understand that it is a horrific situation when 20+ million people are going to see a doubling, or in some cases a tripling, in the healthcare premiums when they can't afford it. When 15 million people are going to be thrown off of their healthcare because of massive cuts to Medicaid, and according to studies, and it's important to understand this, I say this all the time, but I really want to get it through to you. Studies indicate when you throw 15 million low-income and working-class people off the healthcare they have, 50,000 of them will die unnecessarily every year. 50,000 fellow Americans, low-income, working-class people, all to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to Elon Musk, billionaires, and the 1%. So I think that there are a lot of reasons for the Democrats' success last night in New York and elsewhere. That is one of the reasons. And I think what people want is that the Democrats stand up and continue to fight. So I think that one of the reasons of many that the Democrats had so much success is an appreciation the Democrats are trying to protect health care for the American people. Now, I know that there is some discussion about bipartisan negotiations. And I want to be very clear. If these negotiations say that we're going to pass legislation that will extend the credits, tax credits for the Affordable Care Act, count me in, that's great. But there has to be a commitment that the Speaker of the House is on board. There has to be a commitment that the President of the United States is prepared to sign the bill. Bottom line is, we need to be successful in protecting the health care of the American people. And if it's just a piece of legislation that passes the Senate with either 50 votes or 60 votes, so what? Where does it go? Then it becomes just a meaningless gesture. You can go home, I voted for a piece. That's good. But the real truth is, will we protect the health care of the American people? That is what this whole shutdown is. Yes, sir.
Senator Sanders, are you at all disappointed that Leader Schumer did not endorse Mamdani before the election?
You asked Senator Schumer that.
Senator, AOC said last night that Mamdani didn't just have to defeat a Republican, he had to defeat the old guard of the
Yes.
Democratic Party. So a follow-up, is she talking about Schumer? He didn't endorse Mamdani?
Look, here is what, and I want you all to appreciate this. This guy started his campaign at 1% in the polls. I called it one of the great political upsets in the modern history of America, and I think that's really quite true. So who did he take on? He took on oligarchs who put millions and millions of dollars to try to defeat him. Cuomo had all the money that he could use. He took on the President of the United States, who endorsed Mr. Cuomo. He took on the Republican establishment, and of course he took on the Democratic establishment. So what Mamdani did last night was absolutely extraordinary. And the way that he did it was to put together a unbelievable, incredible grassroots effort, 90,000 people volunteering, knocking on doors. So what's the message there? The message is, if you have an agenda that speaks for the working class of this country, if you are prepared to take on the oligarchs, explain to people that it's unacceptable that the very rich become much richer while working families can't even afford groceries or their rent. And if you put together a grassroots movement, you can in fact win. And I think, by the way, people say, well, that's New York City. I don't agree. I think that's...
But it doesn't bother you that...
Pardon me?
But is the Democratic leader part of the old guard?
Why do you want to create... Look, obviously, you have a Democratic... I ran for president against the Democratic establishment. That's what Mamdani did. It's no great secret. That's what Alexandria did. No great secret. Of course there's an establishment. And of course there's a division within the Democratic Party. There's no secret to anybody here. What are we seeing in Maine? What did you see in New York City? What are you going to see all over this country? You're going to see progressives running, protecting the needs of the working class, taking on big money interests, fighting for an agenda that works for all, not just the few. No great secret. Yes, ma'am.
Mamdani also said that he is a democratic socialist and made no apologies for
Correct.
that. Do you think that's something that the Democratic Party should embrace? And
It's not look, then you have to go through a long book of what democratic socialism means. To my mind, if you make clear to the American people that there's something wrong, where one person in America owns more wealth than the bottom 52%, do you think Americans feel good about that? Right now, the billionaire class is doing better than it has ever done, while 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. We are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. 20 million households paying 50% of their limited incomes for housing. What the American people, I think, are asking is, how come we can't have a government that represents everybody rather than just the billionaire class? Why can't we have an economy that works for everybody rather than just the people on top? So you can call it whatever you want. And then you can, and there's a lot of discussion on how do you do. Let me ask you, the real issue is, these oligarchs are so powerful. Right now you're looking at, Musk and the others investing hundreds of billions of dollars into AI, which in my view will have a devastating impact on the jobs of many millions of Americans. Who's going to stop them? Can we rally the American people to protect American jobs and workers in this country? A lot of issues that are out there, but bottom line is we need to bring people together to stand up to the oligarchs and create an economy that works for all.
But Senator,
Yes.
what is the risk for the midterms next year if the party leadership does not embrace this flank of the party?
Well, the party leadership did not support Mamdani in New York, and he won. Party leadership is not supporting Plattner in Maine, and I think he's going to win. So I think it is, I think there is a growing understanding that leadership and defending the status quo and the inequalities that exist in America is not where the American people are. Yes, ma'am. Hold on, one at a time.
Back to health policy. I wanted to make sure I understood your position clearly. If the House gave you a guarantee...
I'm sorry, say it again.
If the House gave you a guarantee, would you be willing to vote on a continuing resolution and tax credits separately, or would they still have to be attached?
If we had a commitment from the Speaker of the House that he was prepared to support a strong extension of ACA credits, and if the President of the United States, and I don't trust him, so you're going to have to figure out how he structured this, was saying that he was prepared to sign it, I think we should end the shutdown tomorrow, if you had that commitment. But if you simply had a nebulous vote that wasn't going to go anyplace, I think we got to continue the fight to protect the health care of Americans. And maybe one more question. Yes, sir.
Do you think the election results have convinced more Senate Democrats to your way of thinking?
I would hope so. Donald Trump told them that. Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.